And then we're online. Hi, welcome, Anna. Thanks for joining me in this interview. Hi. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm feeling well. I've had a tough week, but yeah, I'm feeling good today. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm good. We all had a tough week one way or the other. I think the heat is just getting to all of us. This is so unusual. Yeah. You're from Australia. You should be used to this though, huh?
I thought I was used to it, and then now it's a whole different ballgame. This has been too intense, but no, it's been nice. I'm good today. Today is a good day.
That's good. So I caught you on a good day to do this interview. Can you tell me a bit, or can you tell everybody what you're doing when you're working, or what you're doing with your life?
Well, I've been in Berlin for 2 years now, and I'm working for a consulting company doing content management. So it's a mostly German client-based company, but I work with the English clients, or I work in ways that I can with the German clients. So I'm also learning German, but mein Deutsch is nicht sehr good at the moment, but I'm learning every day. But yeah, I'm living in Neukölln, and yeah, I work in Mitte. So that's my life.
And you've been doing your own yoga for quite a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, I started shadow yoga in Australia, in Adelaide, which is where it was founded, and that's from there I did it in Melbourne, and every time I've traveled around the world, which has been such a nice thing, I've found my shadow yoga crews, and that's exactly what I did here. And it was a really big part of actually settling in Berlin and actually finding like-minded people and something that feels like home to me. So yeah, I've been doing it for quite a few years in Australia.
Yeah, and I had you for a student such a long time in my group sessions, and then we kind of spoke a little bit about your own desires and where you want to head with your yoga and with your health maybe a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Noticing that the job you're doing is also putting a lot of stress onto your system. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's more hours than I would like to do, and it doesn't always allow, well, I mean, I can always make time, I guess, but it doesn't always allow for the amount of time I would like to spend on my yoga practice, and just also my to looking after myself and my lifestyle. But yeah, I mean, that's a big part of, why I've been doing this, and little tricks and tips I've learned.
So for everybody else who's listening, I offered Anna to do a private coaching program with me, like a yoga health program where we're focusing on the yoga work, but the idea was to also look into background issues. And in comparison to what I do in the group program, the Creating Space, where I teach the mannerisms of yogis and Ayurveda or Ayurvedis to people in the foreground, we just switched this around. So this is what Anna and I've been doing for almost 12 weeks now, which is like what I offer to get a bit of transformation really happening. Can you tell people why they should be doing this, or why this is a good thing to do, like to focus a little bit on your own needs and desires?
Well, I think it's something that, I mean, I think everyone should do something like this. It really, there's so much benefit to focusing on yourself. And the thing is, I started this thinking of it in a completely different way, and that maybe I could take on your knowledge to try and eventually try to help other people as well, and do a little bit of group little teachings and stuff like that with yoga. But what it ended up doing is just realizing how much I actually need to work on myself first, and that's been really nice, because it also allows you to focus on yourself, which maybe for some people, for me, I think it's hard to do, to be not selfish, but it can sometimes feel that way if you're just thinking of yourself. But it's so important to take care of you, because that's all you've got. Not in a negative way, but
yeah, and there's so many people out there that tend to be the extreme ends of the stick. Either they super helpful, they like the social workers in all kind of ways, and then there is the narcissists, who are totally focused on themselves, and they can't hear anything, it seems sometimes. So you're trying to come into the healthy middle way. This is what I'm doing. Yes,
exactly. And that's a middle ground that I think everyone needs to find at some point, and
yeah,
has so many benefits.
It's okay to focus on you, as they say in the plane. If you don't grab that mask when you're kind of going down with the plane, you're not going to help anybody else. So we sometimes don't know when is the right time, and sometimes it's good to have somebody to look at that, at the circumstances you're moving through, whether this is a good time to focus on yourself in a clearer manner. And that doesn't mean to become selfish, but just to do self-care, and self-care is what you've kind of started doing more and more. That's what I noticed within our work together. What is like one of the things you would highlight out of the work we've been doing together? Like, what was what was the cream you picked from what we've been doing so far?
Well, this was I've mentioned this before. It was something that surprised me, because it's this last 12 weeks. I mean, it was a long journey. So much happened in my life, of course, which was the best way to deal with it as well, that this was happening at the same time. I was annoyed that it was a bit of a distraction, but I didn't have always the energy to come and physically do yoga, or just even mentally, it was just too much. And I think one of the biggest things I learned was when I came one morning and I just had no energy. I was in such a low place. And like you were saying about self-care, you said, instead of doing the usual routine, today we'll do self-massage. And I thought that was I was kind of annoyed that I was missing out on doing some yoga, but in the end, it was such a valuable thing to learn that and take a moment, because I don't take a moment to do that kind of stuff when I have 20 minutes in the morning or something,
Yeah.
And so it was after the way I felt after coming out, feeling completely different, so light and happy, and it was the same high that I get from yoga, but it was doing something that I actually really needed to do, and it was right for the mood that I was in as well. And I think that was a really important part, where I kind of had a realization of, it's not just yoga or mindfulness stuff, it's actually so many other things that you can do, and what you need to listen to your body as well.
Absolutely. And then to be in touch with the body, that was actually, I think, what happened to you. It was like taking the edge of feeling like you should be moving vigorously to feel yourself. It was the opposite, just get in touch with yourself through touch, and find the self in there, and still create the benefits that yoga would give you. I mean, this has been a revelation to myself as well, because I think we're, sometimes, we find people that are alike. So that's why we connect as teachers and as students. Mm-hmm. And the self-care through the abhyanga, as we call it in Ayurveda, that self-massage, and may it be dry or may it be with oil or with a brush, it's something that makes you feel your skin. And sometimes that is enough for somebody who is struggling a lot with outside issues. And that can happen to all of us, to even the best yogi. It's just not what's being communicated. It's if you read the texts and, if you go to yoga classes, it almost feels like you should be just doing this sun salutation, or you should be just doing this back bend and you will open up. And sometimes it's exactly not that, it's the deeper understanding of that there has been a path that is not so much talked about. That's what I kind of came through me in the work I'm offering, that you can easily get lost in finding that your practice is the most important thing, which it is in some ways, but practicing is not like practicing. Practicing means just, as you said, coming to yourself, you know, in some form or the other, the 20 minutes you have to be really kind of with that. Yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I'm so glad you found this major turnaround.
Yeah.
And if there was, you know, while we're talking about changing things around in a yogic kind of way, things that are not talked about, is there anything that you kind of took on board as a different habit to from what I've been teaching you?
Yeah. I mean, I came also into this program with, I mean, I've had always a lot of stomach problems, and this is something that it's been for years and years. And I think a lot of people like have this where it's not quite defined what it is, but when you find that I was kind of diagnosed with like a wheat intolerance, and then I've just noticed over the years that it's not always that, and I'm get so frustrated trying to work out what it is. And yeah, honestly, it was just after a few chats with you
Yeah.
and because obviously I was changing my habits with food, and when you suggested to eat before 7 or have all my meals before 7 p.m. I mean, I didn't at first. I just kind of tried to do it earlier, and then I remember you were like, no, it's 7:30 or 8 is not okay. Like it's 7. And when I started to do that properly, and it required a lot of like kind of changes in my week, and just because sometimes I finish work at 7, so that would be quite difficult. But when I did it, I really noticed the difference. And it's just so crazy because my whole life I thought, I mean, you know, it's probably a lot of different things, but I always thought it was specific foods or an intolerance or something. And then just by changing, the timings was such a big part of making me feel so much better, because I realized I need more time to digest, and it makes sense because I have a weak digestion. And so that was a really valuable habit that I've spent years with this problem, and now I just feel like I'm so much more under control. And even though I'm not, like, now there are days where, you know, it can't work because I have work events or something, but at least I know exactly what I'm doing now. And I think that's it's so nice to know that.
And when you talk about, like, you know, meal spacing and how it's kind of changed how you're feeling, can you give us a little bit more an idea of what's happening when you feel your digestion is really working for you?
Mm-hmm.
What has changed?
I think the biggest thing is waking up and not already feeling like I'm in pain. And that would happen some mornings. And I think I've even written to you before when, I mean, I don't know if it's other cramps or whatever, but there are mornings where I can't do anything because my stomach is in so much pain already, which is so frustrating because I think, like, I haven't even done anything yet. But I think when I eat and do it properly and eat earlier at night and sleep, and then I wake up and it's this nice kind of like clean, fresh morning feeling, which I'm assuming most people have. So it's more about being able to move, which is important as well in the morning to do yoga, feeling empty and just like energized for the morning rather than sluggish and crampy and a bit sensitive as well. Like, I think that was, Does that explain it? Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're doing a good job there. I just, so you feel like that the day starts on the brighter side for you. Is that like you get a different perspective on the day? Is that what it is?
That's definitely it. The day, when I've done this, the day seems like I'm tackling it and it's starting, and I'm so much happier, and there's no problems already in the morning. It's just like a better way to start the day, definitely. And then I'm set up for all day and it all runs quite smoothly. And I feel like it's just a really good way to start the day. Yeah.
Do you feel it has an impact on your career as well? I mean, you know, like waking up every morning like, oh, and then waking up suddenly like, oh, this is a day, you know, I can face it. What does it do to your career or your private life?
Definitely. I mean, I'm not someone who can hide my mood. So it's like, which is, I should learn a bit more, but I find that if I start the day and I'm not feeling well, everyone will know about it. And I think it's, so it really is important for me to wake up and feel happy and positive and feel like everything's running well and healthy and I'm not in any pain, because pain can really affect me, I think. And then of course that would affect my job and my career. I mean, I have very understanding colleagues, but even just not even that, like friends and seeing people and seeing, you know, you in the morning for a session, like it's always so much nicer to wake up and feel like, you know, I've got this.
And like you're in your 30s, right? Yeah. I didn't hear that.
Oh, sorry, I'm 31, yes.
31, see? And I think when you're 31, I mean, when you're in your 20s, you have this willpower, you know, this is what's being gifted to us, where we kind of overlook all these things that are really stealing our energy, like, you know, these nagging little pains like this and that. And when you come into your 30s and you're managing your career now, you know, or you're kind of in the throes of getting into a real good career, and you wake up with a lot of pain, you also notice this is like all makeup you're doing all day long, while in the background a different program is running, right? The pain program, and it's sucking your energy. And I can tell you, because I've been there with stomach troubles, and this all changed for me in my 30s as well, because I had to look at it, you know. But with gaining that understanding of what creates the pain, it's the choices are clearer, and you know, you're capable of launching into much brighter future, as they say, you know, or into more possibilities, instead of just becoming more you, oh my pain, my pain, my pain. Which is then, you know, like almost the other end of the stick you don't want to go to. You want to look after yourself, but you don't want to be in a position where you feel like you constantly have to just mind yourself. You want to live life and be engaged in the world at your age. That's what I was kind of thinking, hearing about, you know, your problems when we started talking, you know, that it really kind of cuts off such an important part of your life in really kind of changing something in the world. This is why we have people in their 30s, you know, and then we have people growing older, and they contribute wisdom, you know, and so everybody has their place in the world, and they need to have the energy to really bring it forward. Yeah,
that's so true. What you said about the 20s, I feel like I was also going through it, but it I don't know, it was just like, oh, you know, it's okay. And I just always thought, oh, I ate something bad or whatever. And now in my 30s, I had to do something. Like I couldn't, it's too much of a distraction now. It's like, yeah, it's strange. It's a really important time, I think, to have like done something like this. And that's why, it's been so valuable.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Anna, for spending some time here with me and telling people about what happened to you in such a personal manner and opening up. It's so good, you know. I love like working with you, because you are willing to do this, you know, slowly to look at these things. And is there one thing you want to give to people listening to this interview before we leave? Is there one like advice or one kind of thing that you want to say before we leave?
I mean, I just think from my experience with this, like I was saying before, I'm just going to repeat that, like, it's what I've really learned is how much self-care is so important. And it's something that doing something like this is so valuable, because there's so many other things you're doing in your life that don't really matter. And I feel like this is something that can just keep you sane and grounded and just feeling good, which is so important, just to feel good and walking out and just like feeling okay and happy and, you know, starting the day. It's the most important thing. I just think self-care is, I'm all about it now. And
self-care is healthcare, you know, as I could say, you know, it is like that, you know, it's like,
and it's a hard thing to allow yourself to do, or like to spend your time on, or to allow, you know, your mornings or something like that. But it's just, I mean, especially now, my time in my life now, I've realized this is the stuff that matters, and this is what's important. And it's a really great thing. So thank you so much for everything.
Well, thank you. You know, you're contributing to my growth as much as I contribute to yours. That's always like a privilege to be part of. Well, take care, Anna. We see each other soon, hopefully, and have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.